I love that.
So I sent her out yesterday because I needed her to like at least go put the eyeballs on them. We actually scheduled an appointment with all the tenants, went and took pictures of all the houses, got the leases, the rent rolls, um, and we're going to be able to buy these individually. So this morning, it takes a minute to analyze a deal, right? Well, we analyzed 8 this morning. So I think we got a price that's going to work for the seller for each individual property. And we have everything we need to get that deal closed. I mean, it's going to take a minute, as well as I do. 8 properties take a minute to move. Well, then last night, and I say last night, it was literally at 10:30 last night. She texted me because people that I work with in PD Max, a lot of times they work jobs and we just talk whenever, it's available. And she got the pictures of a house in Columbus, Georgia. Now, remember, she lives in close to Raleigh, North Carolina. I said, girl, get that house under contract. It's a deal like it is. We don't even have to go look at it. So the cool thing is that we are sending out a contract for one, hopefully to get back today. Once they get back, I'm going to help her find the boots on the ground in Columbus. Then we're going to negotiate this deal with this guy with the 8 properties. Sorry, guys. If y'all haven't noticed, I've had a good bit of coffee this morning. We'll start working those 8. So, man, she's been working with us for about 3-4 weeks now, and we're working on 9 properties. Right. And she's something special. She managed a Burlington Coat Factory and she went all in. I mean, all in. Amazing. And not that this matters too much, but she's an immigrant as well. So, I mean, to be an immigrant, to be able to come in and manage a store, to have enough gumption in yourself to go all in, man, I'm super proud of her.
Man, that's amazing. And guys, obviously here in a minute or so, Julie and I are going to talk to you about Partner Driven Max. And Partner Driven Max is really next level. It is the ultimate way, I believe, and I know Julie does because we're implementing it. And this is how I built my own business. It's the ultimate way of doing real estate deals. And it's literally, you'll see, it is how I replicate. This is how I grew my real estate investing business, really through Partner Driven Max. And as you guys are dialing in, I'll share our first Partner Driven Max partner. His name is Seth Choate. For those of you that follow me know that I talk about Seth a lot. I talk about Seth a lot for a number of reasons. Number one, he was the first, right, Julie? He was the first really PD Max person that we ever had. Number two, he's an amazing guy. He truly is an amazing. Just a couple months ago, Julie and I and we went to, in Rafa, we went to, was it Miami we all met?
Yeah, we was in Miami.
We were in Miami. And so I say that because our partners truly become our friends. We went there not to do business. We went there to hang out. He was our first, and I'll tell you to this day, probably one of the most coachable partners we've ever had. We've done well over 100 deals with Seth. And since Julie is bragging on Marina, and Marina is someone to brag on, we love her to pieces. We actually had a chance to visit. Marina visited us here a couple of weeks ago at one of our events. She came here with her daughters. And I'll tell you a side note, Julie, I don't know if you know this or not, but as they were walking out, she pulled me aside. She said, "You're not going to believe this. My daughter wasn't really into this thing until she spent the weekend with you guys. And now my daughter, her daughter, I think is the same age as my daughter from what I remember. She said, now my daughter's like, she's all into real estate. And that's a special thing. But we just did a deal with Seth. We had 89,000 into it. And on Monday, we sold it for 154,000. So about 60,000 we made.
That's nuts.
Well, check this out, Julie. 2 weeks ago, we bought a property with Seth for 90,000. We spent zero. Like when I say zero, I mean zero. We didn't touch it. 2 days later, we got a contract for $230,000. So 90 all in, 90 to buy, 0 to fix. So 90 all in. And next week we're selling it for $230,000. And that's our first. And I'm always going to brag on Seth, not only because he was our first PD Max client, but really he's become a dear friend along the way, him and Bree. As a matter of fact, when Ira and I were traveling to the West Coast a little while ago, we stopped pretty close to where they are. We had this amazing dinner. on the water, and we were just kind of reminiscing the stuff we've been through together in the last number of years. So
You
let's
know
get
what's
rolling, guys.
crazy, Peter? You know what's crazy about Seth, or a lot of even, or other clients that we have, is people would think because of this program or because of how many deals that we've done that they completely learn from us, right? But I'll tell you something about Seth over the years. He has taught me so much.
Yeah.
You're never at a point in life when you can't learn from others. So I still learn something new each and every day.
You better believe it. You better believe it. Well, guys, we're gonna get rolling here. We appreciate you guys joining us here today. The format today is going to be very simple. We're here to talk about Partner Driven Max, and Partner Driven Max is the ultimate thing that Julie and I do in terms of partnering with people. Okay. And first of all, I'm going to start off by sharing with you a little bit about the history of how Partner Driven Max came about, because literally, Julie, I'm gonna have to stop saying that Seth was the first Partner Driven Max partner we have. In essence, I was the first Partner Driven Max partner we ever had, that I ever had, I guess. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about how PD Max came into being, and the history behind it, and why we kind of reinstituted the Partner Driven Max opportunity with us. Then Julie's going to talk about specifically what is Partner Driven Max, not from a history perspective, but what from a deliverable perspective, what we do with our Partner Driven Max partners. And then we're going to explain to you how you could become a Partner Driven Max partner. Okay. And that is going to be the format of today. And again, we appreciate a number of you guys joining us. Very exciting to be here. First thing is, let me talk to you about the Partner Driven Max story. And it really originated with me personally, and it originated after the 08 crash, okay? When the market crashed in 08, I was very, very heavily involved in the real estate investing business, but it was the first time ever I went through a big downturn. And if you guys know anything about 08, you know that back then, if you were in the business, you got walloped. I mean, I don't know too many people around 08 who were as heavily invested as I was, who did not get walloped. And I did get walloped, and I lost a tremendous amount of money. I stayed in it actually longer than I should have ever stayed into it. And ultimately the crash of 08, I guess I'm not proud of it, but it's reality, brought me to my knees. I mean, literally brought me down to my knees. I lost pretty much everything I had. But I re-entered the market fairly quickly afterwards, because I knew it was a crash. It was a correction. I knew that's part of real estate. I didn't blame the whole world on the things that had happened to me. And I re-entered the market, and I re-entered it. I still remember I got this office, probably about 10 minutes from where I lived. It was a little, it couldn't have been more than 600 square foot office. It had 3 small rooms in it and a closet. And now remember, I was already in the business before the crash, almost 10 years. And I had achieved a fairly large measure of success. And so I conceptually knew what I needed to do, right? This wasn't my first go round. I understood how to grow a successful real estate investing business. I understood where, like, for instance, where I needed to focus in on. I knew the kind of people I needed to have. I understood the infrastructure I needed to have. And so when I initially re-entered the real estate market after the crash of 08, I got that little office space, about 600 square feet, and I brought a friend along. His name was Bob. And the reason I brought Bob along was because Bob was, pre-crash, my main money guy. He was the first guy I literally had ever borrowed money from. And he and I not only became, we didn't just have this relationship of, I was the borrower, he was the lender. We actually became friends. We both took a beating in the 08 market. And so we re-entered the market together. And so I got this office. I said, Bob, come on with me, and let's get back in a saddle. And so again, because I understood how the market works and how to become successful, I knew that the one thing I needed as quickly as possible is I needed somebody to help me contact sellers. You know, and to this day, we teach people that if you're going to invest your time or money or infrastructure resources into anything up front, invest it into somebody that could help you on the marketing side, right? Contacting sellers and all this. So I did what so many of us have done in this business. I ran an ad in Craigslist, and I simply said, I need somebody to, you know, seasoned real estate investor looking for somebody to help them make some calls, get some context going, you know, describe the position. And I still remember this young lady named Julie calls me one day or sets up an appointment with me. And remember, I had a 3-room office, basically, couple room office. And she walks in. And remember, now I'll be honest with you. And for those of you that understand real estate, you guys understand, like, making calls is not a rocket science. You know, I mean, you're not like looking for somebody that has a Harvard PhD degree. You're not looking for somebody, you're just looking for somebody that sounds pretty good. And so that was the first time. This has been well over 10 years now. That was the first day that Julie ever came in my life. And I did this interview with her. And as the story goes, she goes back home. She clicks on Craigslist, and what does she see? She sees that ad being still running. And as a matter of fact, I refreshed it because I didn't think Julie had what it took to make calls to sellers. And she tells the story one way, but I'll tell you the reality and the truth behind the story. The truth behind the story is she called me and basically bullied me into getting that position. You know, because she's like, how could you not bring me on board? I'm the right person. And I was like, what the heck's wrong with this girl? And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And so Julie came in the very next day. I think the very first day Julie started working for me, making calls, or literally within the first week, she had identified a seller. We have 2 deals come out of that, right? One was a duplex, one was another one.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. It was Miss Charlotte Woods.
Okay.
Was the name of the first seller.
And it wasn't was it 2 properties or just one?
Well, she had a duplex.
Oh, it was a duplex. It was one property, was a duplex. And so literally within the first couple days, if not the first day, Julie had put together this deal. And for those who don't understand real estate, you know, that's like, whoa, this girl must be pretty good. And I still remember watching Julie for the next couple weeks. And one day I came into this small office that she was operating out of that I actually needed to move her out of because I needed to put something else in there. I looked at her and I said, Julie, you're more than just a caller, aren't you? You know how to do this business. And I didn't know, I mean, she had no background in this business. And she looked at me and said, yeah, I'm more than a caller. And that day became what ultimately became a meteoric ride that Julie and I had in this business together. Because that was the day that we had decided, or at least I had decided, that this was the person that I was looking for to help me re-enter and build out a large real estate business. And it was that day that I truly became what we're here to talk to you guys about today. I became our first true partner-driven max client. And like I said, I had 3 rooms in there. One of them wasn't even a room. One of them was a closet. And I remember I had my buddy Bob, and I had to move Julie into a closet that when we started, because I didn't have any room to sit her. So she was literally operating out of a closet with a bunch of boxes and a couple coats hanging there. And within a couple weeks, I remember walking into the closet with Julie and across the closet with Bob's office. And I remember just like I put my hand on her shoulder and I started staring at Bob, and Bob looks at me and goes, you want me in the closet, right? You want Julie in this office. And that's really what happened. And by the way, I say that with laughter because Bob and I are still super friends. Julie's become friends with Bob. He's a super guy. But from that point on, Julie took the responsibility for helping me build out an incredible real estate business. She understood very quickly that in the beginning, what needs to be done. And by the way, guys, this is a secret about real estate. It's not just the beginning all the way through. We understood very quickly, and she took grasp very quickly. The first thing is we got to get some people making some calls. I mean, really, and you hear me talk, when you hear me teach this business, I talk about that all the time. So she developed ultimately what became incredible frontline callers for me. She developed the infrastructure behind them. She developed what became my closer, Mary. And if you're involved with us at any capacity right now, you know who Mary is. You know, what Julie had developed over years and years of working together is what became ultimately not only the largest real estate investment company here in Atlanta. We quickly became the biggest players in Georgia, Southeast United States, and one of the top investors across the country. Julie became my CEO, is really in essence what she became. She single-handedly, because there was times I just wasn't that involved because, as an owner, there's other things sometimes I have to do. So she pretty much single-handedly built my real estate investment company. She built it to the level that we ultimately expanded the company into different states, into different locations. And a little while back, a number of years back, we said, this is an amazing way of doing things. What if, Julie, you could become, now nobody think about who thinks like this. Like, what if your CEO can become somebody else's CEO? But it works so well in my case. We brought this kid on, and he really was a kid. His name is Seth Choate. He's about 25 years old. And he started with us back then, and we kind of made a deal. And Seth, at that point, he paid everything he had, literally. He was getting married. He's like, listen, I'm in. Julie did this for you, and you're telling me she could do this for me. Here's everything I got. I'm in. Julie becomes my CEO. We exploded his business 3 years down the road. And really, Seth became really truly the first outside partner-driven client that we've ever taken on. Seth has been nothing short of an amazing story. We've, years down the road now, we've done well over 100 deals. When we were talking here a minute ago, I just shared with you, we just made 60,000 this week. We're standing to make 140,000 next week. We've made millions and millions of dollars together. Seth is now at least once a week. As a matter of fact, Julie, I don't know if you know this, but he's traveled once a week. He and his wife, 1 week out of the month, he and his wife, or sometimes just they travel across the country, do amazing things. They've passed the threshold of just making money. They now have incredible, incredible lifestyles. But Seth is the only guy we took on back then because we didn't have the infrastructure to expand it. About 4 months ago, we introduced the Partner-Driven Max Partner-Driven Max to a number of people. Julie took on a limited amount of people because, for obvious reasons, you don't want to, go crazy with it. And I'm happy to report that about 4 or 5 months into this process, over 50% of them we're doing deals with. And that's unheard of. That totally unheard of in this industry to have, and we're Julie's determined, and that's just in initial months. Julie's determined to have ultimately upwards of 100% success. And we're at the point right now where we're ready to expand and bring on a couple more partner-driven partners, partner-driven max partners. And I will tell you here, I'm going to flip it over to Julie in a couple seconds here, but I'll tell you, this is for the serious people. You got to be all in here. This is not a sideline. Let me do something for an hour a week. This is not somebody that mentally crumbles at the first crossroad of disappointment. This is not for somebody that's not even sure that they want to be in real estate, that, let me just check it out. This is, and I excuse the French here. This is for somebody that says it's balls to the wall. Let's go all in. I'm ready to do it. Because what Julie's going to commit to is she's going to commit to do exactly what she did to myself, exactly what she's done with Seth, exactly what she's done with a couple other select partner-driven max partners. She's going to come in and she's going to, in essence, become your CEO, and you're going to rock it out with her. So that's my little history on partner-driven max and how we got to be where we are. Julie, talk about a little bit specifically, what is PD Max to people?
I certainly will do that. And I would like to thank you, Peter. Thank you for all of those kind words. Thank you for showing me this business, because let me tell you, real estate, guys, is one of the only industries in the world, where there is no cap to how much money you can make. Okay. And for me, before, I met you, Peter, I was working 70, 80 hours a week, working a multi-million-dollar lawn care company, and basically giving everything I had of myself to build somebody else's business. And frankly, I got tired of it. You know what I mean? I just did. And there's probably a lot of people on this call today that feel the same way. Loved the company, loved all that. It's just, I didn't want to break my best years, breaking my back for somebody else that I didn't get to see the results from. So um, I heard about real estate. That's when I met Peter. So that's why, because over the years I've been able to do a little over 1,650 deals. Not nowhere near as many as Peter. I mean, I just knew this was right for me. I was like, guys, wait a second. I can make money doing something that I love, and I can help people. To me, it doesn't get any better than that. When I can help others while helping myself, I just knew that this business was great. All I needed to do was be able to talk to people that were interested in possibly selling their home. So, as many of you know, Peter and I run something called Partner Driven. And by the way, Partner Driven is our flagship business. It is an awesome opportunity for anybody that wants to get into real estate, where we're going to, help and mentor you every day. We're going to fund your deals and split profits 50-50. It's a lot of which is fine. You'll definitely be successful doing this. It's a lot of doing things on your own. Okay. Yes, you're in a community of people, but some of the tasks is going to mean that you were going to have to do it. Okay. So, like Peter said, like 4 months ago, I thought, and it's what we named today, Peter. And maybe this is a bad terminology. Why don't we like shoot Partner Driven up with some steroids? Right? I'm just kidding. So that we can, grow and take a few select people and take these people and handle all of the tasks for them that they shouldn't be handling. And I'm not saying when you're getting started, you shouldn't handle them. But what if we did everything for them so that they spent time on doing the one thing that makes you money in this business? Okay. A lot of you will think that this makes you money and this makes you money and this makes you money. The only thing that is ever going to make you money in this business is going to an appointments or making offers or doing a combination of both. It's a numbers game to an extent. The more appointments you go on, the more offers you make, right? The more chances of success that you have. So I want to let that sink in for a minute. So then I thought, well, it is 2021, and what worked 10 years ago doesn't work as much now. Okay. So the market's going crazy. We've got this upcoming foreclosure tsunami coming. I really think it is time to build a super army of people that help others while helping themselves. Because I truly believe, unfortunately, when this moratorium ends, we're going to have a little bit of issue with a bunch of foreclosures hitting the market, which is going to do a number of things, but that's not what I'm going to get into today. So I said, well, Peter and I, over the years, we built an incredible team. I've also ran a call center before. I mean, guys, we literally, when we talk about having that little office, Peter and I used to also have a 10,000 square foot office. We had 30 callers in that office. Okay. So we literally built a call center. I personally am not a firm believer, and you can feel differently. I'm not a firm believer in putting overseas VAs on my phone calls. Okay. Really, I like hiring local. I also think someone local is going to present themselves better. You could just tell when you talk. I mean, come on, listen to me talk. You could pretty much tell where I'm from just by listening to me, right? So what if I could work with the most highly motivated people as possible? Well, check, that would be good. Because let me tell you, if you're going to consider this is an, I think I'll do it. This is a, hey, we got work to do. We want to change lives. We want to build legacies for our families. We're not just in this to do 1 or 2 deals and be done. Did you hear that? This ain't about making money right now. It's about building a legacy for our family, having something to be remembered for, having something to where you are able to reach the dreams and goals that you have. See, my dream and goal was not to ever quit working. If you love what you do, I know you've all heard this, but you never really work a day in your life. I go on trips all the time, and people say, "Well, gosh, you're still answering the phone." I'm like thinking, "Well, I'm not really working, right? This is part of what I love to do." So, I just want to make sure before I go into this presentation, if this is something you're interested in, you have got to be a go-getter. You cannot be a quitter. I do not have time for quitters. This takes a lot of time out of my personal life, which is fine because I love it. And I am bringing my absolute top people in to work with you. I don't want my top people working with individuals that aren't highly motivated. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, I don't mean to be rude. I really don't. But your success is my success. And I'm going to explain to you why. So I got to thinking, Pete, whenever we started Partner Driven Max, how could I effectively take someone and get them from point A to point Z? Point A to point Z. How do I get them there? What would someone need? If I were to start all over again, what would I need? If I was to pick myself up and move across the country to somewhere else, what would I need? Well, number one, it's important that you have a legitimate business set up. Would you guys not agree? And I don't mean just a legitimate business setup. What I mean is setting it up properly from the absolute very beginning. Not I'm just going to set up a business and if it makes money, it makes money. Oh, please. I'm talking about setting up a business that's structured in a way that when you start making money, you're able to take some tax advantages, some different things like that. Because let me tell you, if you're going to start making money, you better understand how to pay those taxes or you're going to get in trouble. So I'm going to put you with the absolute best person that I know. And I mean, they set up my businesses. They set up Peter's businesses. He is, in my opinion, one of the best there is in this business. Okay. So we're going to schedule a call with you. We're going to get your business set up for you. You don't need to be working and spending money in real estate and not being able to write it off on your taxes or not being able to take advantage, correct? All right. Now, once we decide or you decide that business name or that business that you're going after, you need to have creative on there, right? You need to have a logo. And I don't mean some silly logo that you're like, well, I'll just, pay somebody on Fiverr and I'll get me a $75 logo. No, I mean, you want a logo that you would wear on a shirt. Like where you go get your shirt embroidered, or you guys out there that wear ball caps. You want a brand, not a logo. You want a brand that everybody recognizes. Because referrals, as you get along further in this business, is really important. So having a recognizable, trusted brand is really important. So on top of that, we're going to build a website for you with this brand and branding. Then we're going to build your Facebook and your Instagram pages. Because why? Because that's where everybody goes to look for you at, right? Well, a lot of problems I see is people have these different things, but one was created this year, one was created this year, one was created by this person, one was created by this person, and they don't come together. If you're going to be getting leads, you need to know where your leads are coming from, right? So if you're doing this type of marketing, you need to know what's making you money. So we're going to have everything come back to that website. Well, great. Where does it go from there? Well, we will customize a system for you. A system. Now, that word gets thrown around very loosely. Everybody's like, oh, you need a system. You need a system. Well, you do. Okay. Because when you start getting leads, Peter, and I'm talking to somebody today and I say, you know what, Pete, I'm going to call you next Wednesday. If you don't call next Wednesday, you just lost your opportunity. Well, when you talk to enough sellers, you're going to be doing that over and over and over again. You've got to have a way to keep up with your potential sellers. You got to do what you say you're going to do each and every time. Each and every time. So now, what's the other benefits to having a system like this? Well, it's efficiency, right? If I were hand dialing a phone, right, I could dial, I've done it before, 25 to 28 calls an hour. And let me tell you, that's getting it. That's really just getting at it and no distractions. Well, with our systems, you're going to have the ability to call, to text, and to email simultaneously. Okay, so if that's all that I was able to provide to you, and let me know in the chat, do you think that would help your business if that was all that we were able to provide? A system, a branding, a real business, something to get you off your feet, something to give you a clear system that you know what to do every day? Would that help you? Yeah. Yeah, it would. Well, I got to thinking about that. Well, now that we've got all of that taken care of, I really got to thinking, Pete, and I say this every time you ever hear me on a call. This is what I say, Pete. I said, there is one thing that makes you money in this business. And I've said it 2 times already on this call. One thing and one thing only. And that is what? Making offers and going to an appointments. So to me, and I know this, the more offers you make, the more appointments you go on, the better chance of success. What if I was able to hire someone for you? I like to call them phone pros because they are phone pros. They are highly trained individuals that are US based. 90% of them live within my town or the next town over because I like having that control. I love having that camaraderie with my team. What if I was able to provide you every business day one lead of a seller that raises their hand and says they'd like to hear a cash offer? So if your complete job every day was to go to appointments and make offers and handle your follow-ups, do you think you could do some deals? I mean, be honest with you. I have no problem with that, right? So we will handle purchasing all of the leads. That means, buying the leads, their phone numbers, their email addresses. We will train your specific caller. Why is that important? Because the lady, whenever Peter and I, and if you can remember back to Gloria, Peter, right? Gloria probably, how many deals did she close for us? Probably about 350 or so back in the day. And she was one of our best callers. Well, guess what? I have her helping me train these ladies because we have to be listening to their calls. Got to make sure they're working their hours. Got to make sure that they're being managed. I don't want you to worry about that because that's not what makes you money. Let me handle let me handle all of the work that isn't the money making work. In the end, it is a money making work, but it's a system every day. We have training calls, we have accountability, we've got our leads. If my people aren't hitting my numbers, believe me, I'm on it because I have a commitment to you. And again, as I said it before, if you'll see, I'm very, very serious and committed about this. This is not for the faint of hearts, because not only will we help you with all of those things, but I also have our back office. We want you out finding more deals while we help close the deals. The worst thing you can ever do is get into a deal. Okay, to me, I see this so many times. People will get one deal done and they'll spend all of their time on that one deal. And you know what happens? They take their eye off of the ball. What do I mean by that? What's the ball? The ball is going out and making offers. So you lose your momentum. I want you to, let's get the momentum going and just keep the ball rolling and just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. To do that, you almost need a team to an extent, because eventually you are going to one day have all of these people for you. I've got over 9 people working for me just at Partner Driven Max. And let me tell you, it is overkill right now because we over deliver on our promise, because this is the reason why. And is it okay with y'all if I'm selfish for a minute? Do you mind? Y'all don't mind if I'm selfish a little bit? So do y'all know how like Peter was talking about Seth, and we were talking about like doing $60,000 deals and $100,000 deals and $5,000 deals? Because yeah, not every deal's a winner. A deal's a deal though. The true reason I want to put my intention into a few select people is this. I want more Seths, and I'll tell you why. Because we fund the deals with Seth and we split profits 50-50. So you want to know my true selfish reason for doing this? Is because once we start closing deals, that's where we make the real money. I never want to get into this and say, or for you not to understand what my true intentions are. When you're successful, we're successful. Okay? Obviously what I just proposed to you, that takes a lot of work, don't it? I mean, it is a lot of work. Not to mention, guys, when you work with me, there's none of this scheduling a call or none of this doing that. You pick up the phone and you call me and you text me, because we don't have time to wait on me to answer questions. I'm going to be there with you 100% of the way. Peter is going to be there with you 100% of the way. Another thing is these are a little bit higher level conversations from time to time. And I think it's important that you're around other people that are working with me at this capacity. Okay. I have no problem. I never hide anything that I do. I have no reason to ever do that. So I'm going to put you with other people at this exact same level. You're going to have their phone number. I encourage people that are in Partner Driven Max to work together, because there's things that you learn from other people that you may not learn from Peter and I. I learn from people every day. Basically, what I'm trying to do is set you up for success to my best of my abilities. But again, like I said, it's definitely not for the faint of hearts. You've got to be willing to go and do what others aren't willing to do. So yeah, that may mean instead of on Friday night going out to dinner and watching some Netflix, you're running appointments to meet with sellers. Maybe on Saturday morning, instead of, going to your buddy's house, you're going to appointments. An appointment still, after all these deals, Peter, an appointment always trumps anything else, just about. Unless it's, something with my daughter or someone's sick. But I don't care how much money that I've ever made doing this. Seller calls me and tells me to come meet him. I'll see you in just a minute. I don't care if I got to drive an hour. I'm going whether I know I'm going to get the deal or not. So this is not something and believe me, guys, what I'm about to tell you, I understand. I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I know the concepts of money. But these things cost money. It costs money to hire someone. It costs money to buy leads. It costs money to buy business. It costs money to to pay these people. All of our staff that we have. This program is in between $45,000 and $65,000. And yeah, believe me, I know what a commitment that is. You'd fair to say if you went and did all of this on your own, you'd be very surprised at how much it would cost to make all of this happen. And to start out knowing that you have someone behind you, you have a team behind you like Peter and myself of years of experience to stop you from making timely mistakes, stop you from making mistakes that are going to cost you money. Okay? So the difference in the money is this. It's how long we work together. Okay? And if you are already a partner at Partner Driven. Because if you are a partner at Partner Driven, I'm going to give you credit for that because I understand that you're already a little bit further along because of what Partner Driven teaches you. You're going to have the benefits of Partner Driven Max and Partner Driven. All right. So again, like I said, that's somewhere between 45 and 65,000. Now, it's even hard for me to say that to an extent because it's a little bit gut-wrenching, right? Now, think about if you were to go and get into a franchise somewhere, how much that would cost to start a business that makes this kind of money. So you really got to understand that investing in yourself is the biggest investment you're ever going to make in your entire life. I have two options for you guys, and one specifically that I'm going to go over first. One specifically for individuals that this works for. And yeah, before you sign up, you will talk to me individually after you talk to the people because I want to make sure we're a good fit. Our in-house payment plan, I can take $20,000 down and $5,000 a month until that's paid off. Now you're probably thinking, well, 20,000 is a lot, but I'll tell you, the very beginning is when I spend the most money. So I almost need that to get this started. And then the $5,000 a month helps handle the salaries until we're there. Okay. The next thing, has anybody ever heard of OPM? Peter, explain the power of OPM.
Well, I'll tell you, Julie, if you're in real estate and you don't understand OPM, then chances are you're not going to get very far. OPM literally stands for other people's money. And I could tell you whether it's myself, any of my friends that have achieved success, or any people, at the highest levels, billionaires in real estate, we all use OPM, meaning other people's money. Because when you use other people's money, and specifically in real estate, because remember, we're not dealing with little small objects. We're dealing with tens of hundreds, if not millions of dollars worth of assets. What OPM does is it allows you to move quicker. It allows you to move more risk-free. It buys you time to be successful. And it literally allows you to do things that otherwise you cannot do, right? Because when you're utilizing other people's money, you're able to leverage, right? And it's, you know, if you, let's say you only have $25,000 to work with, well, you're very limited because you have to buy something in real estate that's only worth $25,000. I don't care what real estate market you're in, $25,000 is not going to get you very far. But if you utilize OPM, you could leverage that $25,000 and in turn buy a hundred, maybe even a $200,000 house. So what does that do? It just tremendously increased your options to actually get in the game and be profitable. And so what Julie now is going to present to you is the ability to also use OPM, not only when you join us at PD Max, but use OPM to, if you don't want to use our internal financing, you could, if you qualify, use OPM to actually join the program. Right, Julie?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Marina's deal, the seller just accepted our price. Sorry. But you are so right. So the opportunity right now is this. And I'm going to share my screen here. Is this funding source is available to new and existing partners. And all you need is a 620 credit score or higher and at least $40,000 a year. Okay. And you've been on your job for a year or more. Or if you are in business for yourself, then they need W-2s and tax returns for the last 2 years. Okay. That you're in business. So going through this. So if you would, my question to you is, if you have the 620 credit score or higher and you make 40,000 plus a year, you could qualify for this special financing. Okay. And be in this program for as little as $800 a month with this financing, depending on credit score or what lenders you go with. The crazy thing, Peter, about this whole, about the whole financing that I want to mention is that this company is backed by private lenders. This company believes in what we do so much because they saw the success of our partners. They are allowing their private lenders to lend people money because of partner driven. So it's not like you could borrow this money and go buy a car with it. Okay. It is used for business purposes only. Okay. So with these business purpose only loan, they're investing in you and your success. What I want to do is I want to show you just how easy and simple it is to qualify and to apply for one of these loans. Now, the biggest thing you're going to think, like me, when you tell me to apply for a loan, Pete, I'm over here like, I'm not applying for anything that's going to ding my credit. Okay. This is what is called a soft pull. A soft pull does not affect your credit. Okay. They're going to take this information and tell you whether you are pre-approved or not. Yes, sir. Whoever asked if we had partner-driven testimonials, we've got hundreds of them. They're on our website. They're all over the place. And if you would, please put the funding link inside of the chat. And I'm going to walk you through this, guys, and show you exactly how easy it is to apply for one of these loans. Okay, so I want to make sure, have I given everybody enough time to click on that link? I want to make sure everybody is with me right now. All right, cool, Pete. Is everybody saying yes in the chat? Because I can't.
Julie, let me just ask you one question. I know some people are going to want to take the internal financing option. They just, they have the down payment. They'll work out the monthly payments. Do you want those people to ultimately call you so you make sure that they're on the same page? How do you want those people, the ones that do not need the financing?
Yes, I would like them to call me. Actually, if you would text me.
Okay. So if somebody could put, Patrice, if you could put Julie's phone number in chat. So if you already have the internal, the funding that Julie said, just you want us to basically finance you and you have the $20,000 down, shoot Julie a text directly, and Patrice will put her phone number into the chat now. Sorry, Julie, go ahead.
If I'm on the phone with one of our partners and you call, I don't want to miss your call. So if you text me, I'll definitely give you a call back, or you can really call me. But my phone number is 678-994-9998. Again, that number is 678-994-9998. But if you choose to go through this financing, okay, then once we click the link, you're going to pick that this is a major purchase, okay? And what's the reason for that? Then you're going to say, how much would you like to borrow? It's going to give you an option. You're going to pull the little slide thing all the way from 5 to 125. If you're looking for 45 to 65,000, I would say ask for a little bit more than what you're looking for, because I mean, why not, right? You don't have to take that certain amount. I always just like to ask for a little bit more. Next, your name. Pretty simple. Your first and your last name. Then your cell phone number. This is important that you do not use a landline. And the reason is because a lot of times this company is going to communicate with you via text messaging. So they want to be able to send you text messages. So if you would, give them your cell phone number along with your birth date, your social security number. Again, let's stop right here. This is not a hard pull. This will not affect your credit for simply trying to get a pre-approval. Okay. Next, what's your zip code? What's your address? How long have you lived at this particular address? Do you own it outright? Do you own it with a mortgage? Are you renting it or other? What's your monthly rent or average mortgage amount? What's the estimate of your credit score? What's your employment status? What's your yearly pre-taxed income? Again, this is gross pre-taxed. What's your payroll frequency? Weekly, bi-weekly, twice a month, monthly? Do you get direct deposit, paper check, or cash? You can also click here to acknowledge and consent. And then essentially, Peter, at that point, the company will get right back to you. Okay. So I'll tell you today, I've actually never, ever given out my personal phone number, but because I am taking a few select people, if this is something that you were interested in and you would like to talk more about it with me, you can go ahead and text me first, get a hold of me at area code 678-994-9998. 678-994-9998. And we'll see if this is right for you. Or go through financing, or if you're ready to get started today, then give me a call. All right? Because I've already actually trained a few brand new callers, some brand new callers ready to go for someone like Mike and Shelby. Hey, I've already got your lady going. I know that y'all are about to get started with us, so we're getting ready for you. But Peter, that is really all that I have for right now. So unless you have something else to add.
Well, listen, guys, I think we've set I think at this point, most people on this presentation know, yes, I'm ready, or no, this is not for me. But either way, guys, I could tell you both Julie and I enjoyed it. We take our real estate investing serious because this is how we make our money. We're full-time real estate investors first and foremost, and our model is very simple. We help everyday people across the United States get to those next levels by doing real estate deals with them. And we're always challenging ourselves. How do we level up? And this partner-driven max is our way of leveling up. So you guys know what to do. You guys got the links. You have, I know, Julie, there's some questions coming in for you on the on chat. I don't know if you want to answer.
And it says price for 4 weeks is $45,000. That is a great question, Maria. It's for 4 months, but I want you to also, it's really longer than that because I don't start the time until you start receiving leads. And there's a lot of work that goes in to getting all of this stuff done before you ever start receiving leads. Okay. And I hope you can understand sometimes that might take me 4 or 6 weeks to get all of those other things done and get someone hired. So your actual time doesn't start till you start receiving leads. Okay. Because I'll tell you, sometimes I hire people and Peter, I train them, and then you know what? They don't fit. So I have to let them go. And I'm going to put somebody in front of you it's gonna be to your best interest. Okay. Because again, I told y'all my selfish reason for wanting to do this. So I want to have the best of the best. I do see some hands raised. And I'm okay to answer questions right now. So if you have any questions, raise your Zoom hand and I will press a button and you will unmute yourself. All right, Brian, I don't have your last name, dear, but if you would unmute yourself.
People in our area, the caller is going to be in our area. Because I said you want someone to make phone calls that is in your area. So if we were to do this, these callers would be in our area. And sorry for asking a question that you might have already answered. I'm just jumping in and out of my truck and bits and pieces.
Yeah. So no, that's a great question. And I think you sound like a robot and I'm hearing every other word, but I think you're asking me, I think you're asking me if I hire a person local to you. To be quite honest, Brian, my office is here in Dawsonville, Georgia. Even though I let ladies work from home, a lot of them are ladies and gentlemen work from home. I want them to be near me because I want to be able to them to come to my office too.
Okay, I got you.
For training and purposes.
Okay.
And
all right,
just
thank you.
Old school like that. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, James. James, if you will, just unmute yourself, dear.
Hello, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Hey, so my question was, because like being already, because the partner-driven max, it sounds like what we've already signed up for. So I was trying to understand what would really be different. Like, I mean, I understand we have callers, people calling, but like from where we're at right now, like how do we work our way up to that where we have callers and things like that? Because I have, like what you said, I have like an LLC set up. I just set an appointment to talk with someone about taxes, so that sorry about that. To talk with someone about taxes. So and I'm like currently right now designing a website, working on a website. So some of these things I kind of already been doing on my own, but because one thing for me is like I've done pretty much like I've skip traced, I've called, I sent direct mail, I've knocked on doors, but I noticed when I was knocking on the doors and actually speaking to people, like none of the sellers like seemed to be motivated. No one was like interested in selling. They were like, no, I'm not selling my house, and they were kind of like surprised. They seemed surprised that they were being approached by it. And also too, what I've been doing, like I've been speaking to different people about marketing and things like that. There was a marketing agency I was speaking with yesterday, and they were telling me, it's kind of like the same thing. She said, like it was something that you said earlier. She was like, these sellers are motivated. Like these are people that are basically raising their hands and, saying that they're looking to sell their homes. So I'm just trying to figure out like, kind of like are the leads that we have like through the app, or is that all like those are all cold calls and things of that nature? We're just contacting them to see what's going on. Like I'm just trying to understand a little bit more, like because like I said, like the skip tracing, the direct mail, like even the app itself, like all of it costs money, and I'm trying to understand like exactly what I'm supposed to get out of that, because like just from, you know, what I'm seeing right now is like a lot of like, it's just like honestly, it's been like a lot of like dead ends, you know what I mean? And I'm doing the work. And then even talking about like being all in, when I signed up for this, it was $1,500. I had $1,600 in my account. You know what I mean? So, and I've been you know, like working at this for a while. So I've experienced many failures, you know what I mean? But I still keep going. Like giving up is not something that I even think of, because I know what this is. I know what real estate
Yeah.
is. Like this is the #1 business in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you mind? Can I give you a few pointers?
Yes.
Because by the way, at Partner Driven, we do offer a lot. Okay. So number one, you're saying you're paying for skip tracing. As a partner, you should be paying anything for skip tracing. You should have 1,000 free skip traces a month.
Yeah, I don't though. Like it takes up my credits, and I was told too that I wouldn't have to pay for the app, and I had to pay for the app. And when I was contacting, you know, reaching out, like I wasn't really.
Okay, well, James, there's a mistake. All I need you to do is email support, and we'll get it taken care of.
I did email support. Like as soon as I paid for it, that's what I'm saying. Like I emailed, I reached out to people about it, and because that was the first thing I said before I even paid for it. I asked if I had to pay for it, and I was told that I wouldn't have to. But when I went back to it, like I ended up having to pay for it, and it's not that. It's not that.
No, it does matter. It does matter, because based off of principles, if we give you something, then that's my word, and it will happen. So something is not right. I never have these complaints. What is your last name, James?
My last name is Blue, like the color BLUE.
All right. So James Blue. We'll have a schedule for you within 15 minutes after our call. Okay. Next, the other thing that you need to do is that you need to go through your onboarding of Deal Engine, your automatic CRM system. Now you're going to need to do all of this yourself, but with Deal Engine, you're going to be able to contact 3 times as many people.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're running into an issue, you know, how many times have you scheduled a coaching call with our master coaches?
I actually had someone that that had reached when I first signed up. There was someone who reached out to me. His name was Terry, and he was saying that, you know, that was his purpose, was to like, you know, help me, like, you know, if I had any questions or anything. So I have been talking with him about certain things, but after a while,
check your welcome email 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday. You have the ability to schedule coaching calls.
Okay.
So I really think you need to plug into the system more, join the daily training calls. And once you plug into the system more, you get literally like responses within 30 minutes to an hour. I manage Partner Driven as well. Just let us know when you're having an issue. We'll be there.
Yeah, because I mean, I mean, that was, like I said, you know, like that was the whole purpose of signing up for this, is because like trying to do a lot of stuff on my own, and like, you know, like what you were talking about earlier, like OPM and things like that, like understanding that, like you know, so I'm just trying to take this to the next level. It's like I'm just trying to figure things out, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But you need to take advantage of everything that we offer you that you don't have to pay for. We pay for it for you. And you're literally, like really turn this boat around. Okay. And Gerald, schedule a master coach call. Join the live daily training calls. There is a direct correlation with everybody that's on the training calls to the ones that do deals. We just need you to let us know when you need assistance. We don't know if you don't tell us.
Yeah, that sure is. And like a lot too is like you said, you know, like taking initiative, you know, like because I just think about it, like I know you guys have a lot going on, you know, like I just felt like some of this stuff I have to figure out on my own, like, you know, so I watch videos like the training videos and stuff like that, and you know, just try to apply it on my own, you know.
You're very, very sweet. The only thing that we've got going on is helping people like you get deals done. Don't ever worry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I will have a master coach reach out to you today. I will have one of my admin staff reach out to you today. I'll have all this solved here momentarily. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, James.
All right. Thank
Well,
you.
guys, yeah, no problem. We'll get, hey, don't worry. We'll get this taken care of. But for those of you that are partners, plug into our systems. We do a live daily training call every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You never have to pay extra for coaching. You never have to pay extra for our CRM, with the exception of an email account and a text messaging account. But we're here, or even Slate. You do not have to pay extra for calls or for anything at all. No, guys, we want to do deals with you. Get back on an onboarding call. Join a brand new onboarding call, and schedule a call with a master coach. Let's get you unstuck. Let's get you unstuck. Just because I'm talking to you today about Partner Driven Max doesn't mean that Partner Driven is not providing you everything. Partner Driven Max is just kind of handling it more for you. Okay. So for those of you that are serious about talking to me about Partner Driven Max, give me your, just text me at 678-994-9998, and we will be here for you. Guys, it's been a great Friday. I have got to go run some errands this afternoon, so I will see you later. Anything from you, Peter?
Nope, we've said it all, guys. On behalf of ourselves and the staff, thank you. We appreciate it, and we look forward to getting a number of you guys started here. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.